Question number 13. Mr. X on 1/7/2007 during the initial offer of some mutual fund invested in 10,000 units having face value of rupees 10 for each unit. On 31/3/2008, the dividend paid by MF was 10% and Mr. X found that his annualized yield was 153.33%. On 31/3/2009, 20% dividend was given. On 31/3/2010, Mr. X redeemed all his balance of 11296.11 units when his annualized yield was 73.52%. What are the NAVs as on 31/3/2009 and 31/3/2010 and 31/3/2008? By drawing a timeline. Let us look at that. Now see this. The NAV on 1/1/2007 was rupees 10 and number of units was 10,000, and on 31/3/2008 dividend was paid which was 10% and annualized return as on that date was 153.33%. So what is the duration? It is 9 months. Okay. So after 31/3/2008, what happened? On 31/3/2009, 20% dividend was paid. And on 31/3/2010, which is after 1 year, we see that the total number of units is 11296.11 and annualized return comes down to 73.52. Okay. And this is 1 year, this is 1 year. So total duration will be 2 years, 9 months, right? That is equal to 2 into 12, 24 plus 9, that is 33 months. If you see, the total number of units increased from 10,000 to 11296.11. How did this increase? So the only way this must have increased is when X received dividends and those dividends are reinvested. So these are reinvested, right? Okay. Now, how do we find out NAVs on these dates? So if you see, the first one is very clear. You have annualized return, and annualized return is nothing but closing NAV minus opening NAV plus distributions per unit divided by opening NAV into 12 by holding period. So here we have to find out the closing NAV, and we have opening NAV, and we have distributions per unit, that is 10% of face value is 10. So 10% of 10 is rupees 1 per unit, right? And divided by opening NAV, that is 10 into 12 by holding period. That is, what is holding period? It is 9 months, right? So it is 12 by 9. So with this, we can find out NAV as on 31/3/2008, right? 13. So what is annualized return? Annualized return is 153.33%, right? So what is this? What is the formula? Closing NAV minus opening NAV plus distributions per unit divided by opening NAV into 12 by holding period is equal to 153.33%, right? Now, what is closing NAV? This is what we need to find out. Closing NAV. What is opening NAV? Rupees 10 plus distributions. That is rupees 10 into 10%, right? Divided by rupees 10 into 12 by holding period, that is 9. This is equal to 153.33%. Next. So this thing will go here, okay? And even this thing will go here, right? So, and this will be 10 into 10%, that is 1, minus 10 plus 1, it will be minus rupees 9. So so closing NAV is equal to this. When it goes here, it will be 153.33% into 9 by 12, right? And also this, when it goes here, it will be into rupees 10, right? And this is minus rupees 9. So when it comes here, it will be plus rupees 9, right? So closing NAV is 153.33% into 9 by 12 into rupees 10 plus rupees 9. Okay, let's calculate. That is 20.5 rupees, 20.5. Therefore, NAV as on 31 3 2008 is rupees 20.5, right? Now, so we know that dividends are reinvested, right? So we'll find out how many units will be there after reinvestment. So upon dividend reinvestment, additional units is equal to total dividend by NAV on 31/03/2008, right? That is rupees 10 into 10%, that is rupees 1 into number of units, that is 10,000, divided by what is the NAV? Rupees 20.5, that is 487.8. Therefore, total units as on 31/03/2008 is 10,000 plus 487.8, that is 10487.8, right? Now what happened? We see that on 31/3/2009 a dividend of 20% is again paid, right? And on 31/3/2010 we see that the total units is 11296.11, right? Is there any dividend distributed on 31/3/2010 here? No dividend, right? So if there is no dividend, then there is no dividend reinvestment, right? So whatever units are here, the same thing will also be here. So even this will be 11296.11. Continuation of question number 13. So we found out total units as on 31/3/2008, right? Now dividends paid on 31/3/2009. 10,487.8 into 20% of rupees 10, that is 2 rupees. That is 10,487.8 into 0.2 into 10, that is 20,975.6. 20,975.6 upon dividend reinvestment additional units is equal to 20,975.6, that is total dividend paid by NAV on 31/03/2009, right? So total units on 31/03/2009 is 10,487.8. This is the units on 31/3/2008 plus additional units, that is rupees 20,975.6 by NAV on 31/03/2009, right? So we have seen that total units on 31/3/2009 is nothing but total units on 31/3/2010. What are those values? See, total units on 31/3/2009 is nothing but total units on 31/3/2010, because there is no further dividend paid on 31/3/2010, right? So it is 11,296.11 is equal to 10,487.8 plus rupees 20,975.6 divided by NAV on 31/3/2009, right? Now solving this further, it is 11,296.11 minus this, when it goes here, 10,487.8 is equal to rupees 20,975.6 by NAV on 31/03/2009, right? So what is 11,296.11 minus 10,487.8? It is 808.31. 808.31 is equal to rupees 20,975.8 by NAV on 31/03/2009. Therefore, this will go here and this will come here, right? So NAV on 31/03/2009 is nothing but 20,975.8 divided by 808.31, that is, sorry, this is 20,975.6. 20,975.6 by 808.31, that is 25.95. Therefore NAV on 31/03/2009 is rupees 25.95. Next, this is 20.5, this is 25.95, and now we have to find out this. What is given? Annualized return is given. Now in this case, what is annualized return formula? Closing NAV into closing number of units minus opening NAV into opening number of units divided by opening NAV into opening number of units into 12 by this entire holding period, that is 33 months, right? That is 73.52%. Okay. So annualized return is 73.52%. That is closing NAV into closing units minus opening NAV into opening units divided by opening NAV into opening units into 12 by holding period, that is 73.52%. What is closing NAV? This is what we need to find out. Closing NAV into what is closing units? 11,296.11 minus opening NAV is rupees 10 into 10,000 divided by rupees 10 into 10,000 into 12 by 33 is 73.52%, right? Now this will go here, also this will go here, right? And this is rupees 1 lakh, and since there is a negative sign, it's minus 1 lakh, and after that this will come down. Okay, so solving it, we get closing NAV is equal to 73.52% into 33 by 12 into what is rupees 10 into 10,000, that is rupees 1 lakh, rupees 1 lakh plus rupees 1 lakh, because this negative sign when it comes here it becomes positive, plus rupees 1 lakh, and this entire thing divided by, because it's coming down, divided by 11,296.11. Therefore closing NAV is equal to rupees 26.75. Therefore NAV as on 31/3/2010 is rupees 26.75. This is 26.75. Okay, so this is the solution to the problem. Now let us see problem number 14. Question number 14. Mr. X on 1/7/2012 during the initial public offer of a mutual fund invested rupees 1 lakh at face value of rupees 10. In the previous case, what was given? Instead of investment amount, the units were given, the number of units, right? On 31/3/2013, MF declared a dividend of 10% when Mr. X calculated his holding period return was 115%. Okay, in the previous question, annualized return was given in place of this holding period return. On 31/3/2014, MF again declared a dividend of 20%. Okay. On 31/3/2015, Mr. X redeemed all his investment which had accumulated to 11296.11 units when his holding period return was 202.17. Okay. So if you see, this is exactly same like question number 13. The only difference is that instead of annualized yield, holding period return is given. So we will skip this problem. Skip.